Good evening. If you are getting this, and hopefully you are, I'm going to turn that off. Hey, I'm Derek, and we are here in Muppet Labs. No, that's not true. We are here at the manse of Middle Spring Presbyterian Church, which is where where worship is live streamed from each Sunday now. I wanted to take a minute. I've had many people ask, okay, that's not true at all. I've had one person ask if I would show what we do here and how this all works. And in fact, I asked that person to ask me because I wanted to show this. And so I'm going to do a quick run through of what happens sort of over the course of the week. You all see the live stream on Sunday morning. But what you don't know is what goes into it. In addition to Kim's normal service prep work of figuring out hymns and all the liturgy and everything else, she and I have several meetings over the course of the week to look at order of stuff, to figure out how we can space things so I can do what I need to do behind the scenes, because stuff happens really fast. And as you'll see in a minute, sometimes things take longer than I think they should, or anyway. So we have a couple meetings. We talk about that. We figure out what the music is, and we will meet Ingrid over at the church, usually on Friday afternoon, and we'll record the prelude and the postlude. And if there's a hymn, when there's a hymn, we hold on a second. Sorry, that's our normal Saturday night here. Kids are running around doing stuff, so we're having a fun time as Kim and I are getting set for tomorrow morning. Gus, I'm doing a broadcast. If you can keep your voice down for a sec. No problem. So we meet Ingrid on Friday afternoon, and we record all three of those things, and usually Kim and Priscilla and I go over and we stand in the choir loft, and so as Ingrid plays, we sing along, and then I come back, and once I've got all that stuff recorded, and this week we have special music, so after Ingrid was done and left, then Dorinda and Richard Saul came in, and I got all my cameras set up, and they got set up, and we recorded it. And then I bring it all back home, and then I stick it all on my computer, and I edit it to chop off the beginnings and ends and make it smooth. And I'm usually working with a couple of different video sources and several different audio tracks to try to get the best one. And it can literally take as few as 5 minutes for like the postlude, if I've done my job right. Or it took me about 40 minutes today to get something pieced together, because trying to make sure I had the right sound and the best video. And sometimes I simply don't have those. I'm still learning this system that I'll show you in a second, just how to get the best quality out of it, because if your source material isn't good, your final product won't be good. And so that's something I'm learning. The very first live stream that Kim did, I was actually traveling to Maine to get Gus from college. She used her iPhone, and Zeke held the phone, and they videoed it that way. And it was fine. But feedback we got included challenges of hearing Kim's voice. So we added some microphones, and Mike Denning found this product through Digital Sunrise, called a Sling Studio, which is, I will show you in just a second. It's a little white box that is a self-contained thing that is essentially it's a Wi-Fi transmitter and receiver, and we hook iPhones up as cameras. And through all of that is how we have our different pictures. And I have an iPad in front of me, and that's how I control it. And I'll show all of this to you in a moment, because it's pretty amazing. You may have noticed, and I'll go back to it right now. That's how I do all the graphics. That's just another thing. So, couple things. I'm going to swing the camera around here so you can begin to see how my little rig here works. Hopefully I can aim this down a little bit. So you see I have an iPad right here, and these are my video sources, and you can see the different cameras. I have two cameras set up. So right now, right now we're live on this camera that I'm looking at that's next to me. This is my iPhone that's plugged in, and then I have a second iPhone on a stand right over there. And when I go to that is our Luna cam. And so she'll be over there tomorrow on her bed, and we'll move to that camera for that moment. I'm going to come back to me so you can see me, even though Luna's much better looking than I am. Over here I have the laptop, and I can simply scroll through, hit the space bar, and it works like PowerPoint, and it changes the slide so I can see what's coming next. And so, for instance, here, you'll see how everything's written on one side. So, for if we had the postlude next, let's say, or I'm sorry, prelude, I would set up, first of all, I need to get, let me add a video source. So all the clips that I talked about that I've edited on the computer are loaded in down here where it says video clips. So I look for, the first one would be the prelude. So I drag the prelude up here and put it in one of those boxes, and that's how I know it's live. And I come back over here, and I'm going to do a split screen. So I choose, actually I'm going to do a picture-in-picture on that, I believe. Maybe I'll show you how to do a split screen this time. So I would put the graphics that I want over here, and I can get those set up how I want it. Then I can add the prelude over here, and I can line Ingrid up. Once that's done, I check it. And then, when it's ready, I'm going to go into it, and then I'm going to back out of it, because it'll start playing, you'll hear. So as soon as I hit preview, this is called preview, and this is the program window. This shows what's going out to the live stream at all times. I can also look up here, and these are my different faders, different microphone levels and sound levels. What I didn't show you, as you can see over here behind me, I have a soundboard. And so up on the shelf with the green dots that you can see, Kim is wearing a wireless mic. That was one of the best things. Oh, and see that little white box over there? That's our Sling Studio. That's the master control that the iPad is operating out of that. All of the cameras checked out. I've got a cable coming out of the soundboard that goes into that box, and that's how everything flows through there. But so being able to give Kim a wireless mic, you see she's wearing her lavalier mic, means I can get a really good quality sound of her voice, can run it through the soundboard, and I can boost that. Now what you have probably noticed, I've certainly noticed, is trying to balance the pre-recorded stuff, which is often at a much louder level, with the stuff coming out of the board. And that's always a challenge, and that's where the struggle I have with the digital controls is it's all a touch fade thing, and it's really hard to be precise. And so if levels are jumping around sometimes, that's why they're jumping around, because I'm trying to figure out how to do this, and it's not always working for me. When I use the soundboard, which you can barely see because I pulled you back out of it, I have much more control, but again, if it's pre-recorded clip, like a prelude or a postlude or a hymn, then I can't change the level through the soundboard. I have to use these little digital faders, which are, only my fat fingers can only move it so well. So let's see, let's come back here and look. So if I want to do preview, so this is all set in preview, and then when I hit this button, it's going to pop it down, it's going to start playing. I'll let it run for just a second, and then I'm going to back out of it. Okay, so I'm pulled us back out. I'm back now, but it's as easy as that. Once I get it set up here, then it comes down below and it's ready to go. So normally, so out of the prelude, so once the prelude is running, I can set up my next shot. So if I'm here, let's say I know that Kim is going to do the children's moment next, then I would get Luna Cam set up over here. And as soon as she's done saying whatever the prayer or moment is, and she starts to move over the dog, I hit fader, boom, brings up the Luna Cam, and she sits down next to Luna and talks. And usually she comes right back to where she was, and so I go back to that camera. Normally the camera that I'm using to film me right now is not where I am, but it's over in the center of the room looking at the piano. I'm going to scan back around to the front. So you can see our worship space. And of course, there's a great Facebook meme that shows, I'm bringing it back since I'm talking, you can look at me, because staring at the piano is not going to help you see anything. There's a great Facebook meme that shows a pastor sitting on a chair. It's a cartoon that shows a pastor sitting on a chair and looking very perfectly, and there's a cross behind. It's wonderful, but the picture is drawn from further away, and the living room they're sitting in is a complete mess. And if you scan around our room, or if you saw the picture of Luna, there's stuff everywhere, and so the workspace itself will be very clean, and then behind it will be kind of messy. And part of the challenge is, as we're all living through this, finding a sense of normalcy is hard. And so actually starting last week, we used to leave all of the equipment basically set up all week. And last Sunday after worship was done, we just stopped and we took it all down. We put our dining table back. We put all the mics and everything against the side and said, we need a moment of just our house being restored to what it was, which was nice for the week. It sort of helped set the tone for the week. And so finding normal patterns, I encourage you to do that. Anyhow, that's the bulk of what we do. Having the mixer means I can also plug, if I play guitar, I can plug my guitar in here. I have a mic that I can use that'll also work different sounds. Usually Priscilla's sitting on a chair. She's monitoring on Kim's iPhone. She's watching the feed stream as you all are commenting, and then Priscilla will speak into the mic and read the prayer concerns. So this is all the stuff behind the scenes. I'm not even showing you all the lighting and stuff. I've got tinfoil hanging off our light in the ceiling to try to direct the light over to where Kim is standing. We put a second light in, but it's fun. This is stuff that I have a background in. A couple different times in my life, I've been pretty heavily embedded in the video stuff, and so this is a natural return, but having to learn it in a whole new way with a whole digital iPad interface. This is a really cool little piece of equipment that the church bought, and it's helping me to do the best I can. And I really appreciate the notes, the emails, the letters that you all, several of you sent directly to me, and comments you've made through Kim. I appreciate that. It's a lot of work. But I'm glad that I can help be there and try to make this as seamless as possible. And I think that's something that Kim and I talk a lot about, is how, going back to that normalcy thing, how do we want everyone to feel engaged. We want this to be a communal thing that you all know we're here. As you all sitting wherever you're sitting and watching this, we're here doing this right at the same time, that we are together in this. And that's the most important thing to remember, is that we are in fact together, and that the Holy Spirit is working among us, through us, around us, guiding us all. And that's a really powerful statement. And we appreciate you all watching and supporting, and the comments and prayer concerns you lift up, and just keep doing it. If nothing else, be nice to each other, help each other out, be supportive. And that's all I ask. But yeah, so anyway, that's my backstage tour. I was going to limit myself to 10 minutes. I'm already rolling close to 13 here, so I'm probably going to sign off. But I just wanted to show you a little of what goes in to make all this happen. And if you're ever interested, when we're able to gather back together in person, I'm happy to show some other demonstrations of this. But it's fun. There's a lot goes into it, but it's hopefully it's worthwhile, and that you all enjoy that. And feel free to leave any comments or questions in the comments here, and we'll check on it later and answer your questions. So peace be with you all. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 10:30.